B'Shem Hashem na'aseh v'natzliach. We want to wish everybody a wonderful Shabbat. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, please. This week's Parasha is such a multitude, such a great multitude of mitzvot. According to many counts, there's over 50 to 60 different practical mitzvot that we could carry out on a daily basis. But I wanted to talk about a very interesting subject, and that is the attitude of gratitude. We know at the end of this week's Parsha, the Torah says one nation is banned for eternity to join us. We cannot have them marry a Jewish woman and convert and be married together as an official Jew. And that's the nation of Ammon and Moab. Now, who were Ammon and Moab? Ammon and Moab were the cousins of the Jews. They're the descendants of Lot. And the Torah says since they hired Bil'am. But even before that, the Torah says since they didn't come and greet you in the desert and bring you water and bread, so they were ungrateful forever, for eternity. Lo yavo b'kal Hashem. They cannot join the congregation of God, the holy nation of Israel. And the question is, why? Even the Egyptians, after 3 generations, can become Jewish and marry Jewish women. B'kal Hashem. So I'll never forget this. God bless my Rosh Yeshiva, Harav Yaakov Weinberg, Shmuel Yaakov Weinberg. He said, you see a phenomenal thing, that the most despicable and disastrous and poisonous of all attributes that God hates and any noble and logical human being is repulsed by is being ungrateful. See, Avram Avinu risked his life twice. Once in the first international war, the war between the 4 kings and the 5 kings that we read in the beginning of Bereshit. And then a second time, Sodom. Lot was destined to be destroyed like everybody else. But God, because of Abraham, sent 3 angels and saved Lot from the disaster and destruction of Sodom. So these descendants of Lot, Ammon and Moab, should have been grateful, should have had Hakarat HaTov. But instead they went and hired the evil prophet Bil'am to curse us. So God is saying a Jew, Yehudi, what is the root name of the word of a Jew? It comes from the word Hoda'ah, from Yehuda, which Leah named Yehuda, the 4th son of Jacob, because of gratitude to God. She said, I deserved more than I got. I got more than I deserved. And that is really the essence of the Jew. And a nation which has that despicable and repulsive characteristics of ungratefulness, of instead of returning a favor, going ahead and trying to curse us and destroy us, they cannot become attached. They're the antithesis of Judaism. And somebody asked me a very important question this week. He said, Rabbi, what if there was somebody, he did us a tremendous favor and we have to always be indebted and grateful to that person, but now recently he hasn't been so nice, he hasn't been so wonderful, he's been a little bit not polite. And the answer is, we learn from this week's Parsha, the Torah says, do not hate the Egyptian. Why? Because you were a citizen in his country. They opened. So let me ask you a question. The Egyptians murdered and really killed so many Jews. But the Torah says, in your heart of hearts, you shouldn't hate them. Why? Because in the time of famine, in the time of Joseph, they opened their arms and gave us the most productive and they were gracious, they gave us the land of Goshen. So this is right now is a time of Teshuvah. We're only 2 weeks away from Rosh Hashanah. So let us develop a true attitude of gratitude. We see in this week's Parasha that the nation of Ammon and Moab, for eternity, for not 1,000, for even the time of Mashiach, they could never become synthesized and integrated into the nation of Israel because they lacked the decency of Hakarat HaTov. On the other hand, the Torah demands of us and requires us not to hate the Egyptians, and even after they gave us back-breaking labor, and that's the whole episode and holiday of Passover, we shouldn't hate them. Why? We should still feel a depth of gratitude, because in the time of Joseph, so let us become embedded in our DNA. To be a Jew is to be somebody that takes nothing for granted. So let us, the first words we utter every day, let's utter it with more deeper intention, with the more kavanah, modeh ani lefanecha, melech chai v'kayam. To be a Jew is to be a person, a human being that never takes anything for granted. We have to thank God for waking up every morning, for our health, for our wealth, for our children, for our family, for our community, for our parents, for our loved ones. And so this Friday night, when you're sitting at the Shabbat table, please thank your mother, your wife, the hostess, your older sister, or whoever's inviting you. Never, there's this attribute of being grateful, there is no limit to it. The more and more and more and more we could recognize the great gifts that God gives us and the great gifts that our friends and family and community gives us, the greater and more noble, humble, and more wonderful and elevated person will be. Shabbat Shalom, and have a wonderful, wonderful New Year.